Okay, we are back. This is only three. This is the final three missions of the first post Stormblood patch. Um, Nanamo has decided, with the help of Lolorito, to and myself, to move everything or to help out the Alamegans and making the Saltery a waypoint, more or less. And so now let's get started. We are slowly on the path to Shadowbringers. Our course is decided. I shall return to the palace and have my ministers begin work on implementing the peculiars of the plan. If I could prevail one, if I could prevail upon you one more time, Sapphire, I would ask that you convey the details of our negotiations to the commander, to Commander Hex, on your return to Alamigo. My thanks again. Together we have laid the groundwork for an endeavor which promises to benefit the people of Alamigo and Uldal both. As a heads up, I will probably be a little more silent on this one because I'm munching on food. So now I'm a little curious about when we come back after this, will it look like it's been restored?
Apologies for the wait. People are screaming for the Butcher's blood again. No sooner have we broken up one mob than another forms. Thankfully, all have been amenable to reason, thus far. But it is no concern of yours. We must speak of the men Arenvald and his comrades apprehended in the peaks.
By their uniforms, the captives were first judged to be Imperial troops. But after further investigation, their true identities came to light. I dare say you remember Yuyuhasi and Laurentius, the fugitives who conspired with Captain Ilberd in the Crystal Brave's betrayal. Aye, well, it would seem they followed him all the way to the wall. It was they who orchestrated the slaughter of the Resistance fighters prior to the Griffin's infernal ritual.
Were it in your hands, how would you punish these men? You would spare these animals? Yours is a more merciful brand of justice than mine. In any event, I thank you for your honesty. When the time comes for the Alliance to pass judgment, I'll see that your opinion is heard. Well, that concludes our business here. But there is more I would say. Walk with me. I bear a share of the blame for Ilberd's atrocities. Had I openly supported the cause of Alamegan liberation, he might not have felt driven to do what he did. Things could have been different, and I'm sorry they aren't. But even after all that has happened, my homeland is free. With the Scions and the Alliance at their side, my countrymen have reclaimed what many thought lost forever. Under her new leadership, I have every confidence that Alamigo will emerge from the shadow of the Empire and rise once more to greatness. Which means my work here is done. Soon I will return to Uldar and take my place at the Sultana's side.
Father...
I'll not deny there's a part of me that wants to stay. The same part that contemplated renouncing my rank and joining you as a wandering sellsword. But I pledged my blade to Nanamo, and I will not betray that oath.
Is this truly what you want, Father?
It is. Ever has my sword been hers to command, and ever shall it remain. Thank you for lending an ear. When all the rest are clamoring for me to stay, I trust you'll send me on my way.
We have not forgotten how you sinned against the Lady of Bliss, but we did not come here to shed blood. You claim to seek harmony with all who call Garabanya home. If this is truly your wish, you will you will welcome us as envoy of the Ananta. It is our wish, and you are welcome, but we cannot condone the summoning of primals. If you if you want to enter the palace, I must ask you first surrender any crystal jewelry. You have my word that it will be returned to you when the meeting is over. We will do as you ask, but leave you will not have our weapons. We are not so foolish as to place ourselves entirely at the mercy of our tormentors. I reckon that's closest we're going to get to a compromise, and we will have people stand guard. I let them keep their swords. Then we have an agreement. Lead the way to your meeting chamber. Why do I have the feeling you're welcoming a viper into our midst? I mean, I get it, but also they summoned the primal out of pain. Ooh, new bow. It's a very standard looking bow, but I like it. This Qualyana elder's intentions seem at odds with what we know of her tribe. What do you think? You believe in understanding can be reached. It is not entirely unheard of, I suppose. Those who followed Saint Shiva eventually sought reconciliation with Ishgard. Whatever the truth, I would take no chances. The guard must be strengthened, ideally with people who know a thing about primals. Can we rely on the Scions? Of course. I'll go round up our comrades and send them to the Alamegan Quarter. You can go ahead if you like. My thanks, I will see you in the palace. It's Y'shtola! And Thancred, it's been a while since I've seen them. I've brought reinforcements. Arnval told me of the arrival of our unexpected guests. I agree that it would be prudent to call upon Y'shtola and Thancred as well. One can never be too careful when dealing with the enthralled. I'm not familiar with the Kalyana tribe myself, but Alizé reports suggest they shun contact with other races, despise it, in fact, even compared to other Ananta. Indeed, this apparent reversal of attitude is most curious. No one expected a response to our invitation, much less an envoy. I imagine Lise was forced to take some rather hasty arrangements in order to accommodate them. Speaking of which, how should we deploy ourselves? If the meeting is to be held in the throne room, it would be wise to have eyes inside and out the palace. Excuse me. Ishtola and I can stand guard without. That leaves the three of you to keep watch over the proceedings in the throne room itself. Understood. We should join General Alden inside then. Sapphire, do you know of the rear entrance to the palace? It's on the eastern edge of the city, at the top of the stairs. The guard there should have been instructed to let us pass. You're with the Science? Sir. General Alden left orders that you were to be escorted inside, if you'll follow me. Whoa, who's the rat folk looking people?
Thank you all for coming. I am Lise Hext, and I speak for the Resistance. Among you are village elders, refugee leaders, envoys from the Ananta and the Kikern. You've come from every corner of Girabania to help decide the future of Alamigo. But before that, I want to ask you a question. What was the first thing you noticed when you came in? For me, it was that empty throne. It has no one to sit on it now. No viceroy, no king. Would any of you like to take their place? Or should someone else sit there? Then let's sit here in a circle, as equals, and I hope, as friends.
Expertly done. Lise has removed monarchy as a choice early in the game and positioned them to consider a joint government. All things considered, I would say events have got off to a fine start.
Now, where do we go wrong?
And that is Alagana's stance on the matter.
Thank you, Ragenfrid. Another vote in favor. Next, let's hear from Shanti of the Kalyana. Tell us, how do your people feel about the idea of a republic?
Enanta, wish only that those who dwell within Gir Abania devote themselves to our faith. You shall all worship Sri Lakshmi! Lady of Bliss, grace us once more with your beauteous visage!
Like I said, where do we go wrong?
This can't be happening. No crystals were allowed through the door.
We can worry about the how of it later. We need to evacuate these people right now, or the Primal will make thralls of them all.
It's up to us.
Gods damn it! The guards were already turned! Fools!
No, you don't!
The Kalyana would see us all enthralled.
Then they're going to be sorely disappointed. We have the Warrior of Light and Arenvol to shield us.
Aye, but they can't well defend your guests and attack the Primal, can they? We're stuck on the back foot.
All right, I think I have an idea. Keep these people safe, General. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Yeah, whatever she's about, she'd best make it quick. Come then. Who will be next to die on my steel?
Okay. That's harder than it appears. Let's try this again. I don't know how many waves there are for that, though. Wait a minute, it goes farther than I thought.
Why, I offer you peace and serenity.
Jeez.
I shall free you from your hate.
Oh my god. Jeez.
Damn it all! It's only a matter of time before we miss one.
What of it? Do you want to kill this thing or not?
Okay, that makes sense. Partially. Now let the real fight begin.
not your souls weigh heavy?
I was wondering what was going to turn in this. I did not expect that. I'm literally just going to stay here. I gotta remember to redo the HUD layout. Whew. I just realized she was trying to take down Ferdilla's Aether. Now back to how did they summon without crystals?
We did it! We beat her!
What is this? I'm only going to say this once. The Ananta just summoned their primal in the throne room. My friends are fighting her, but they need help. They need someone with the Echo, and by the gods, I wish I had it, but I don't. I told you before that you still had time, but things have changed. I need your answer now. You can end it like Xenos, or you can fight for Alamigo. Your choice.
7 hells. It's her, the Butcher.
It's done. Take me back to my cell.
You are not forgiven. Not you. You I will never forgive. But I will thank you. For standing against a primal and saving us from servitude. You have my thanks.
Our stand against the Aquarium would have been brief indeed had you not volunteered for guard duty. We'd be enthralled as surely as our sentries were. They must have planned this far in advance. Security was my responsibility, and I know how dangerous primals can be. I should have... God, it's my fault, my stupid mistake. Alas. We were all caught unawares. We'll take this as a lesson and watch our own more carefully in the future. And you can be sure that the lackeys who smuggled the crystals into the throne room weren't the only thralls in our ranks. The soldiers who first spoke up in favor of keeping their weapons springs to mind. A primal servant is betrayed by his aura. If you mean to conduct an investigation, you can identify any other acting under Lakshmi's influence. Actually, we appreciate the help. Yeah, because you've been on the mend. Speaking of help, I almost fell over when Fedora showed up. What was she even doing here? I asked for her to come. And we get our explanation. Well, that explains it, Finn. It's sad, but Ragnfried was right. Her victims will never forgive what she's done. I don't think Fredolia picked up that sword looking for forgiveness. She just wanted to fight for her country. If you say the world in which Fredolia grew up is partly most to blame for what she's become, then as an Alamegan I feel responsible for improving that world. We can't ignore what's happening right now. We have to show people a better way than vengeance, or we risk the birth of a new generation of skulls. I know it's idealistic, but I want to help people to let go of their old grievances and make peace with each other. And I hold 1,000 meetings and talk till I'm blue in the face if that's what it takes. 'Tis a long and arduous path you've chosen, but one well worth walking. Rest assured that I will do what I can to help you reach your destination. Thank you, Alphino. The first step will be to get our representatives back in the throne room. They're a little shaky, but no one seems ready to run. We're all determined to finish what we started. I will see that you are not an orphan. Sapphire, you and the Scions are to stand down, get some rest, you've earned it.
A fine spot to contemplate the heavens. The meeting is over. The envoys have chosen to instate a government model on Ishgard's House of Commons, a ruling body of representatives elected by the people. It is a fair decision, and one which signals the end of my part in all this. But I would gaze upon Girabania's stars one last time before I leave. Forget something? Your Grace, there was no word.
Rabun Aldin, you are hereby dismissed as General of the Immortal Flames and relieved of your seat on the Syndicate.
But, Your Grace...
Rabon, I am no longer a child. Stay here in your homeland. Work with your brethren. Rebuild Alamigo.
You desire to stand alone. I understand, but remember what happened.
I remember full well the consequences of my naivety, and thus did I consult at length with a most trusted advisor ere I embarked upon this course.
A most trusted advisor? And what of me? Am I no longer deserving of your confidence?
What trust can there be between us when you withhold the truth from me? Did you think me oblivious to the anguish in your eyes when you spoke of returning to Uldar? For years and years, we have trusted one another. Yet now you refuse to confess your heart's desire?
I swore an oath to you that day on the sands. I pledged my sword.
And it has served me well. But in Pippin you have forged a new sword, as sharp and deadly as the blade you bequeathed him. I will show you a Sultana who can wield every weapon at her disposal, including Lolorito and his monetarist cronies.
You tell him, girl.
So follow your heart, please. You are home. You are free.
Nanamo.
Smile for me, Raubarn. I would have this parting be a joyous one.
Thank you, Your Grace. It has been an honor to serve you and Oda.
Tomorrow you will serve Alamigo and fight for the good of all Eorzea. Am I understood?
Yes, Your Grace.
Thanks for shielding us from Lakshmi, you two. If you hadn't been there, the rest of us would be worshipping her by now.
You're kind to include me, Lise, but we both know who did most of the work. I could scarce keep track of the battle, let alone land a telling blow. No shame in admitting.
Please, you helped out more than you know.
Light has put far better men than me in the shade.
Did I mention that I encountered the Sultana in the palace? It would seem Her Grace has come to Girabania to oversee the final stages of her relocation project. She was in search of General Oldin, and I directed her to the rooftop garden. I do hope you were still there.
Are you in the habit of gossiping about the affairs of royalty, Master Leveilleur?
Certainly not, Your Grace. I was merely informing my companions.
Be at ease, Alphino. 'Twas only a jest. But I must yield the floor to Raubarn. He has an important announcement to make.
As of yesternight, I have been relieved of my post in the Immortal Flames and the Syndicate both.
I shall be assuming my father's duties. And may I say that Tizona has never felt heavier upon my back.
Twould seem I am in need of employment. Mayhap one of my old acquaintances can introduce me to a mercenary company or some such.
You may be getting on in years, father, but you'd struggle to find a band of sellswords who wouldn't snap your hand off. Your remaining hand.
The bull of Alamigo need not be put out to pasture just yet.
Your Grace has developed a wicked edge to her humor, and you, Pippin, would do well not to laugh when the future may hold the same for you.
So, does this mean you're staying?
Aye. That seems to be the way of it. I would be glad to aid you in rebuilding our nation, if you'll have me.
If, he says. Welcome home, Rauban.
Okay, this here feels very much like closure to Stormblood. Like, we have a succession, we have a government.
Well, that was unexpected. Though you seem distinctly unsurprised.
I wonder what the next two patches are going to be.
Either you are more astute than I give you credit for, or I'm losing my touch. In any event, one thing is certain. Alamigo will rejoice at the homecoming of her dearest son.
I think it's about time I headed back to Walker's Reach. What's next for all of you? LSA will be eager to hear the recent events, so I shall join you, if you've no objections. I'd welcome your company. Sapphire, why don't you come along to the Reach as well, once you've said your farewells to Nanamo and the others? Upon completion of this quest, you will be able to access the palace's rooftop gardens by speaking to the Royal Menagerie attendant. Interesting. Okay. Well, here we are again. Alphino has regaled me with a thrilling tale of hidden treasure troves, mid-meeting betrayals, unlikely alliances, and joyous homecomings. It would seem I missed everything. That's true. I was patrolling the palace grounds with Thancred and Yashola when we heard the report of a primal in the throne room. I honestly doubted my own ears. As others have said, we were lucky to have the Echo-blessed champions nearby this time, but we'll need to keep a closer eye on the Kalyana. You can say that again. The whole episode has reminded me just how far apart our kinds still are. It looks like centuries of fear and mistrust, and I missed that last part of it, Naturally, a lot of people are crying out for vengeance, but I've been doing my best to calm things down. Violent reprisals will only lead to more summonings. Indeed, violence will ever beget violence, as the Empire has learned to its cost in recent times. In any case, summoning Lakshmi was the Brood Mother's doing, and whoever replaces her might not be so keen on the idea. We'll just have to watch and wait. Which isn't to say we won't be putting the safety of our allies in the Vera and M tribes first. I plan to have resistant scouts keep track of the Kayana's movements at all times. I just realized we're probably at some point. Okay, so the next two patches are probably going to have us go and check out what Hien is doing and Yagiri. My parents will be relieved to hear that. What are your plans for the rest of the Resistance army? Out of interest, we are preparing. We are to prepare for Imperial counterattacks. That would be a question for the Resistance newest recruit, a military commander with far more experience than me. Ah, what, the Bull of Alamigo? We call it an army, but the Resistance is really a collection of smaller independent groups. When Conrad passed his command on to me, that authority only extended to the freedom fighters based in Ralker's Reach. He just happened to be serving as a resistance spokesman at the time, and needed someone to take over the role while everything was disarray. But that time has passed. When I speak with the other leaders about reforming the army under new government. I'll be nominating Raban as an overall commander for our forces. He has more experience than the rest of us put together, and we stand to learn a lot from him. Indeed, he is in all aspects the ideal choice, assuming he accepts the post. Alamigo will have added a formidable weapon to its arsenal. And given the progress of Nanamo's resettlement initiative, I see great cause for hope. The seeds which we are so carefully sowed have begun to quicken, my friends. I like that. We tend to our promises and watch as Alamigo blooms. Okay. That'll do it for this. That ends 4.1. Did he get back? Nice. I do give thanks to the kami that my makeshift raft withstood the fury of the seas. Oh, we have to deal with Yotsuru. But they were generously ended. Without coins in our pockets for new attire, we are doomed to look like so much jetsam. Oh, woe betide the poor man in the city of merchants. Wait, what? These dango are delicious. Will you have one? More sweet bread? I surrendered my blade to secure a few coins. What few coins we have. Did she lose her memory? Or is she just making do? Bah, 'tis like talking to a child. Why fate settled me with this burden I shall never know, but I am alive and I will return to my master's side. Come, Suyu. Ah, we shall try and find a ship to carry us across the Ruby Sea. I have a feeling she lost her memory. She has no idea who she is. Her eyes are a little different, too. Yeah, she lost her memory. And he's just calling her Tsuyu, not Yotsuyu. Interesting. Meanwhile, in the Imperial O. Have you read the reports? First Doma, then Alamigo, and Lord Xenos put to the sword? Do not believe everything you read. I hear the Viceroy was merely wounded, and that he already returned to the capital. Naturally, the savages beat their chests and boast loudly about taking his head regardless. Nay, Lord Xenos lives? Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. He didn't explode or just actually die. So, I think I'm pretty sure he's alive, considering he's in the Endwalker trailer, for crying out loud. I'm just interested in seeing how. Deplorable that our own officers should be fooled by Eorzean misinformation. Small wonder the provinces have begun rising up in rebellion. We must prepare an official and, above all, accurate announcement to quell these pernicious rumors. They would wage war with empty words. Let them produce the viceroy remains. Then we shall soon put a lie to their claims. Okay, where are they? Who is this? Who's snooping around in the Empire? Alright, there we go. So that will end 4.1. The rest of the videos, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, and everything else that leads up to Shadowbringers, should be done in one video. Keyword should. We'll see. But until then, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for viewing and watching. And as usual, be good to yourself, be good to others, and of course, stay true to you. Laters.
Can you feel it wrapped around